Hey folks, Mike Tango Whiskey here, coming at you with another video. Today I want to talk a little bit about hope and its relationship to being prepared, to preparedness. Years ago, I had a guy who was training me. He was a steer instructor. He was in great shape. He was all jacked, and I let him torture me for 6 months, and he had this little home gym that he had set up. And on the wall of his home gym, he had painted in huge letters, like foot-tall letters, it said, "Hope is not a plan." Now, that came from his seer background, not relying on hope to get you out of a situation. But man, that phrase just stuck with me. It stuck with me all these years, and I kind of think it is foundational to being prepared. I think prepping, to a large extent, is a loss of hope. It is a breakdown of hope and faith and trust in people, institutions, and systems. I tend to think about hope in the biblical sense. So Hebrews 11:1, I believe, says, faith is the evidence of things hoped for. No, the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So in that scenario, there's two things. There's the object of the faith. In that case, it's God. And the hope is that faith stretched out. Faith is believing what God says. Hope is continuing to believe what God says, right? It's stretched out along the time. It's faith plus time. And I think that works the same in this world. I know it does. I know that we're built to have faith in something, right? And prepping is a loss of faith. It is a loss of hope. I have no faith in the supply chain to feed me and my family in the time of a crisis. So I store food. I have zero faith that law enforcement will get here in time to save me and my family from immediate danger. So we prepare for that. I have no faith in the institutions of the political system. I have zero faith that voting or protesting changes outcomes, right? I put out a video about protesting, it pissing people off because I was like, just stay home, just don't go. And someone in the comments made a really intuitive comment. They said, I think, and he wasn't being sarcastic. I don't think he was being negative. He said, I think these people, the people who were upset about that video, clearly still have faith in the system. I think that's probably true. And I'm not even saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying I am at a point where I don't have any faith in that system. I don't have faith. I don't have any hope that voting better, harder, with more information and more research for the right person is going to change the fact that whoever's sitting in that seat, we end up with more war, more debt, and less freedom. I think that freight train is I don't think there's any pulling it back. So I don't vote. I don't go out to protest. I'm not saying that those are bad things necessarily, but I just have no faith that they'll be effective. I think prepping, to a large extent, I've said this in other videos, that I think everybody has kind of their red pill moment where they get to a point where something makes them realize that they've been putting their faith in the wrong thing, right? So then they're like, whoa, I don't believe that anymore. Right? I think prepping is the slow, gradual, sometimes sudden realization that nobody's coming, nobody's going to help you, that those things aren't going to work, right? I think, this sounds so negative that I'm saying it out loud, but I don't trust that other people are going to come to my rescue. I don't trust that. So I think prepping in a very real way is taking responsibility for yourself and your circle, what we're calling the areola of trust, right? Whoever you decide, your family, your friends, whoever you decide is in that circle, providing for those people first. And not relying on the systems of this world, and to a large extent, the people around you to do it for you. We don't relinquish our responsibility. We take responsibility for what's ours, keeping it safe, keeping it as normal as possible for as long as possible. Yeah, And I don't want to tell, so what should I tell people? Have no faith, have no hope? No, I would say it's more put your faith, direct your faith towards a steadfast, for me it's a person, right? Steadfast thing. For people who are putting their faith in the system, and then the hope is, let's use voting, vote, that eventually it's going to change things. And when that system collapses, then what happens to your faith, right? That's why it's so important that we put our faith and hope into things that are steadfast. For me, that's somebody who is eternal, right? And I'm not saying that's the thing that you should do, but man, if you put your faith and hope in people who don't deserve it, systems that crumble, and institutions that fail, it's going to leave you short. I think we're more effective as preppers when we prepare for those things to let us down. And I know that's inherently heavy, and I know it's inherently negative, but to me it's positive. It's seeing things for what they are. It's seeing the world through a reality lens, right? It's not sugar-coated, it's not rose-colored glasses. It is seeing people, systems, and institutions for what they are. One guy, he made a comment, and I said, look, once you're awake, man, you can never go back to sleep. And it's true. It's a curse and it's a burden. And we're all trying to navigate our way through this mess, the best way we know how. But I think the sooner we stop relying on those things for comfort, for safety, for security, for information, the better off we're going to be. We're going to put ourselves in a better position to be better prepared for what's likely coming our way. What do you guys think of my light? It makes my teeth, this is the one that makes my teeth look white. I'm going to use this light all the time. They still look like monster teeth though. I had a little girl once tell me, she says, you have teeth like a monster. It's like, thanks, little girl. Anyway, this is Mike Tango Whiskey. It's a short ramble, under 8 minutes. Should I talk for another 45 seconds so we can get ads? Nope, I'm going to end it so it gets no ads and you guys can watch it straight through. Mike Tango Whiskey. I'm all clear.